Seizures. Okay, good. So seizures, definitely a medical emergency. However, patients with history of seizures usually are red flagged in their charts. Okay, especially if the patients have do not have any medications yet or it's not controlled yet. So when you go into the sleep lab, you're working that night, you open up the charts and you see the patient has a flag. It will state patient has seizure last week, now being seen in neurology and referred into the sleep lab. So always read your patient's charts, read the consults. Why is this patient getting seen in the sleep lab? So there could be nocturnal seizures. It could be evidence that the patients are actually seizing at night. There could be witnesses, or they could be just symptoms that the patients wake up and they have blood in their sheets or their pillows, that they have swollen tongue. What can you really do with seizure patients? What are the things that you have to ensure or prepare for?
Bed rails.
Very good. Thanks, ma'am. Bed rails. If the patient's in a hospital or your sleep lab is in a hospital setting, make sure that the bed rails are up, right? And the other thing is, usually you can grab extra pillows so you can use them as your pads. There are seizure pads that are actually sold, and if you're in a hospital, you can have this. The seizure pads will have a Velcro and it will be placed on the side of the bed rails closer to the patient so that if the patients trash around, they don't hit the metal bars or the metal rails. Okay. In the old days, they used to instruct on putting a stick or a tongue depressor so that the patients won't bite, but that's no longer applicable. Okay. And why won't you want to do that anyway? Why won't you want to put a tongue depressor in the patient's mouth? Anybody? Do you put a tongue depressor in the patient's mouth?
Can they choke on it?
Yes, absolutely. You don't want them to choke on it. Okay. I thought somebody will say it doesn't have any ice cream, so why would you do that? But yes, tongue depressors, it can break and it can choke the patient. But there's also a misunderstanding there, right? Because seizures, are they always like that? Are they always exhibiting trashing around, having muscle spasms, or the patient becoming rigid, right? What are seizures?
Partial,
Mhm.
complex.
Complex and generalized, right? Yes. So partial, complex, and generalized seizure. These are the different types of seizures, right? Everybody heard that? Types of seizures? Okay. So what does that mean? So when you're looking at a brain, okay, actually there's a brain right behind me. Partial seizure are seizures that occur in a particular area of the brain. Let's say the temporal lobe. So it could be just in that area where an abnormal epileptiform discharge occurs. It could show as a spike or a sharp, right? It could be a slowing, even if the patient is awake. So there will be signs of abnormality. All right. Now, partial seizure, the patients are not asleep. The patients are, or they could be asleep or they could be awake, but the patient's aware. The patient is very cognizant. The patient is not out per se. Complex then is a bit bigger, a bit more involved, right? Complex seizure will include maybe half of the brain, a quarter of the brain, right? There's more areas of the brain that's being affected. So they could still be aware, but they can't control what's happening or what they're experiencing. So partial and complex, sometimes they will feel something, right? So a spider crawling on their shoulder, on their arm, on their head, or they can see colors that is not there or visual, somewhat hallucinations. It could show exhibit as like that. Or if it's a generalized seizure, then it involves the entire cortex, the entire brain, meaning to say there's an electrical surge happening in the brain. And when that occurs, the patient's completely unaware of what's happening. And when the generalized seizure occurs, usually it could be a spike and wave, but it will happen throughout the entire cortex. You will see the abnormality in the entire brain. All of your channels will show the abnormality. Okay, so the patients are not aware of what's happening. And how long do seizures last?
Seconds.
Maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Okay. And one known seizure with kids is called absence. It's spelled as ABSENCE, like absence. You're absent, right? But absence seizures, what happens to these patients when they get their attacks, they'll just pause and they'll just look out, or they'll just look to the side, but they'll just freeze, right? And then after a few seconds, they'll come to, they'll come back and say, as if nothing happened. They completely lost that portion of their time. So that's absence seizure. But that is not a simple seizure, that's a generalized seizure. There's other seizures that involves muscle rigidity. They get hard, they get rigid, and then they spasm. They have muscle spasms. So that's what we call tonic clonic. The clonic is the spasms. The tonic is they become really hard. And what's dangerous there is they can snap a bone when being that hard. Okay, that's why you don't want to put anything in their mouth because they can bite really hard. And then if you have tonic clonic, and some patients do, and it happens at night, then they are not aware that they're doing that.